Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for checking in with me on my Air Force update journey. So I have a lot to talk about, so let me just get right into it. So I went ahead and I reached out to a recruiter. These recruiters are so hard to get in touch with. My advice would be just be persistent. So finally I got her on the phone and explained my situation, told her I was interested and whatnot. So she said, okay, let's set up a meeting for you to come down to talk to me. So I went down to her office. It was the next week. So I got in contact with her on a Wednesday. My meeting with her was the next Thursday, so it was about a week and a day. So I went down to her office and I knew what she was going to ask me for. I knew she was going to ask me for important docs. Ooh, this thing keeps shaking. I'm sorry. I'm shooting on my laptop, so it's kind of like but when you go down there, they're going to ask for important documents for like your second or third visit. So what I did was I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and be prepared for our first meeting, so that way I don't have to keep coming back giving her important documents that she needs. Like, no, I'm serious about this. I'm ready to get started, so let's do this. So what I did was Thursday I went to the meeting. What I brought with me was, sorry if I keep looking down, I have notes right here. So I brought my high school diploma. I brought, of course, my ID, like a driver's license or an ID. I brought my social security card and my birth certificate. And since I have dependents, I also brought theirs also. I brought their social security card and their birth certificates as well. So I knew those were the things that she was going to ask for because I watched other YouTube videos and they said that that's what they had to bring. So what I did was I just brought it for my first appointment. We went ahead and we went over the pre-qualification questions and all that good stuff. Anyway, so I went through all of the questions. Found out I qualified. Okay, good. I thought right then and there that she was going to give me like a pretest, the ASVAB pretest, but actually she didn't. She said, well, you're qualified. We're going to set up another time for you to come back, because she answered all my questions then also. But she said, well, we'll set up another time for you to come back so we can schedule your ASVAB, and I will need you to bring some things with you. And that's when I told her, oh, what things do you need? Because I did bring some stuff with me. And she said, well, there you go. And then we could take care of it right now. So she made copies of all the items that I had told you guys. The birth certificate, the social security card, ID, and high school diploma. And I also brought my college transcript because I have college credits. So if you do have your college transcripts, you don't have to bring it the first time. You can bring it later on. But make sure you do bring your college transcripts, so then that way if you have a certain amount of credits, you're able to go in at a higher rank. So anyways, she went ahead and she made copies of everything. She put a file for me together. So I have a file. She also went online and she scheduled me to take my ASVAB and to go to MEPS. Now the ASVAB and MEPS were in two different places. I live out here in Las Vegas. So I remember going years ago to MEPS. MEPS was up in Salt Lake City. So they would fly us to go out there. But I guess the way the budget cuts are or whatever it is now, they don't do that. And which is okay because they built a MEPS out here in Las Vegas, which is cool. So that means I didn't have to stay in a hotel. I didn't have to have a room with another person in a hotel, and I'm older, so you know I kind of like my space. I kind of like to have, I'm kind of set in my ways, so I'm not really that type, oh, I wish I could have stayed in the hotel and meet new people. Like, I'm good. Like, when I get to basic, I'll meet new people then, but for right now I like my lane. So back up, let me tell you about the ASVAB real quick. So ASVAB, it was here locally in Las Vegas also. It was actually at a satellite station, so it was in DeVry. I don't know if you guys heard of DeVry University, but it's like an online college. So we have a DeVry University campus out here in Las Vegas. So that's where we had to take our ASVAB test at, and it was a lot of people there. So it was a lot of people taking the ASVAB, and a lot of the recruiters were there also. Now, this is very important for like, I didn't know this, but it's important for you to get there early, like arrive early. Make sure you have enough time. And I know a lot of people who say that, like, get there early, eat a good breakfast, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's all good and everything, but you need to make sure you and your recruiter, I know you can't tell your recruiter what to do, but hopefully they have some sense to tell you to get there early, and they will be there early as well. Because this is the thing. This is how the ASVAB, well, I don't know about other places, but out here, this is how it works. So you have a room full of, it was like 50 people waiting to take the ASVAB. You also have, like along the wall are the recruiters for everybody that's there. So the room is packed, it's full. Okay, 50 people, they only have, what, 40 computers. So that means 10 people are not going to test. Yes, 10 people did not test when I had went. So what happened, the way that they pick, who they pick and what they pick is beyond me. But they need to have a better system for this, because a lot of people take off work, a lot of people get out of school, people are taking time off from other obligations that they have to come take this test that they've been preparing for so long. So this is how they do it. So, for example, Army has up to, we'll just say, I'm just giving estimated numbers. These were not the correct numbers, but this is just an estimate. Army has 10 people. Air Force has 4 people. Marines have 2 people. Navy has 5 people. So, Army picks 10 people that are going to test, okay? Those 10, they're going to test for sure. So if 20 people show up, 20 people show up in their Army, 10 are going to test for sure. They're going to move on to Air Force. Air Force brought 15 people, but only a certain amount can test, okay? Marines brought 10 people, but only 2 can test. So they take 2 people out of the 10. Okay, Navy, I forgot what number I said, what, like 5? I don't know. Okay, Navy can only have 5 people that can test, but 15 people showed up. So 5 of the 15. Okay, so they do that and they keep going back. So then now they filled up the slots. So now they're going to go back to the Army. They say, okay, Army, pick another person that you want to test. Okay, Air Force, who do you want to test now? Got it. Marines, Navy. All right, they keep doing that until they reach 40. So, yes, some people did not test, but thankfully I was able to get in. At first, I was like, oh, man, I kind of want to get in now. And then the other half of me is like, well, if I don't get in, then I can study a little bit longer. But I got picked, so it was a reason why I got picked. So, yeah, so we went to another room, and this is a long process. My recruiter told me to be there at 11:45. I was there at 10:30. That was just me. So I was there at 10:30. I was waiting, which is, I just, walked around, and I have an ASVAB study guide, like, on my phone, so I was able to just sit there and flip through things and just refresh my memory of a lot of the formulas. Because a lot of the formulas, you have to memorize, like area, perimeter. You need to memorize those. And the best thing to do is once you get into the testing, go ahead and write it down once you start your test so you don't forget and it's still fresh on your mind. That would be my best recommendation. But, yeah, like I said, I was just waiting around. So the test, my recruiter told me the test starts at 11:45. So I'm ready, thinking like, okay, let's get this started at 11:45. Totally forgot. Military is all about hurry up and wait. So there's one guy, one test proctor. He is writing people's names down. He's the one that's writing people's names down that are going to test. After he gotten our names, text message. After he got our names, we had to go to another room. The other room had the computers. So once we went to the other room, he had called us one by one. We had to have our ID and our social security card. Was that our social? Yeah. Our ID and our social security card. So we had to have both out. He had to verify it, and he had to, he verified it, and we had to sign, like, our name, saying, it is us or whatnot. So he gave us our social security card back, and he kept our state ID. I noticed that some people did not have IDs, like some of the younger kids, the high schoolers, they did not have IDs, like driver's license or just the regular state ID or school ID. So if you do not have an ID, what they do is they take your fingerprints. So you just dip your finger in ink and you press it on some paper, I'm not sure, next to your name. I don't know, because I had my ID. So you're still able to test if you don't have an ID. So don't freak out about that. So after he went through all 50 people, he then went ahead and he gave us the rundown of how the test would go. It was computerized, obviously. He told us about scratch paper, if we need another pencil, sharpen, whatever. He did tell us if we're in the middle of a math problem and we're taking too long, the screen will start going red. It will go red. It will go out. It will go red. So he has to come around and put in a code. I don't understand why they do that, because like for me and my anxiety, like that freaks me all the way out. And it did freak me out because I would take too long on a question. I'm doing a question to take too long. And I have bad memory already off the top. So I'm forgetting, like, okay, I need to see the question again. I'm a visual person. I need to see the question again. So he's all the way across the room helping somebody else out. So I had to wait for him. So it was like time going by. Like, I need to do this. I need to do this. So, yeah, once he told us everything, told us all the rules, he had to go to each one of our computers and put in his code and password and make sure it was up and running. I'm like, oh my gosh. By the time we started, it was like 1:30 because I had to keep track of time because I had to pick my child up from school by 3:30. And I was all the way on the other side of town, which is like an hour to get back to get my child. So I'm like, gosh, I'm going to have to rush this test. So thankfully, I was the first person in the chair. So he came to me first, put in the code, yada, yada, yada. Cool. I was online. A lot of people had trouble with the system. The system had an issue. I didn't have an issue. Other people had an issue. So they'll work a problem. They'll press next. And then on the computer, it just showed that it was waiting and waiting and waiting. So they had to wait a long time for it to go to the next one. I guess because with all the computers going at the same time. They had the same issue the other day too. So that was crazy. So once I had finished the whole test, what did I do? I let him know I was finished, and I hit print, and he was like, you want to know your score? I was like, no. So he didn't tell me. He's like, okay. So he printed the paper, and he put it in an envelope, and then he gave it to me. He told me good luck, and I said thank you. So I really wanted to know, but I didn't want him to look at my score. I'm like one of those type people, like, let me look in private first. So when I got to the car, I looked at it, and I found out I passed. Hey, excited. So I called my recruiter. I let her know. I said, hey, I just finished. She said, okay, great. What did you get? And I told her, and she was like, good job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, we're going to schedule you for MEPS. She's like, I'm going to schedule you for MEPS. Would you like to go next week? And I'm thinking, like, next week? Cool, because if you think about it, just last week I contacted her. It took a week to take the ASVAB and then another week to go to MEPS. So this is all in a 3-week period, like back to back to back. And I'm like, man, this is really good. It's moving by quickly. Like the beginning was slow, trying to get in contact with somebody, but once you go ahead and get started, then it goes by. Sometimes it just all depends. Thankfully, with my recruiter, it was going by pretty quickly. So that's what she did. She got me on. She scheduled me for the next week, which was a Tuesday. Yeah, it was a Tuesday. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But this video is already long enough, so I will make a part 2, and that one will be about MEPS. And everybody's MEPS experience is different. But if you guys have any questions, definitely leave it below or shoot me a message. All right, have a good day. Bye.